industrial environment, that would be our expertise. So here we want to showcase that we really dedicated into specific market. For example, power market, or you can say energy market. So at the very far end, that's about power substation, and demonstrate the latest solution for the digital substation IC 61850 solution. And the red next to that is for rail or transportation. So that's for the onboard vehicle or any moving vehicle. And this is for networking. So as you can see, that's all the switches. And at your left-hand side, it's also, I think, maybe that more related to your daily life as well. So on the far end, that would be cybersecurity, because nowadays everyone get more the sense about the cybersecurity, so want to make their infrastructure more secure. And the red next to that is about IoT, but IoT, the concept of more like now OT, we already have our implementation in our OT environment. We already have on the side, you have your network, you probably have your PLC, you have your I/O, you have your meter, the device needs to monitor. But if your site is very scattered in every different places, how to gather all those data into a place, or for someone who wanted to monitor that information or want to control, sometimes been difficult. So it's kind of some solution, or some customers start to adopt the idea of IoT. So put the control in the cloud. So their application or their monitoring built in the cloud, and that's also something we want to demonstrate. So maybe the application, something is not very related to what you're currently doing, but I think we basically utilize all the product range that we have in Moxa. So maybe some of the product line, you can see that in your own application. So when I introduce, if you have any specific interest about specific product, just feel free to interrupt me. We can stop there and we can have more discussion about maybe the feature or hardware design as well. Because all our devices, it had a web console, which means that it's easier to configure. You just log into the web and we can show you how the function works. Okay, so let me start with this one. I think some of you have mentioned that maybe like in the EV charger or in your past project, you have used our switches. So that's a 405A. Yeah, so they are the brother and sister to the 405A. They are next generation for the 405 is this one, and the latest one is this one. So I will also bring a spare one so you can have a look and have a feel. So this all DIN rail switches. I think the port number for your application maybe it's not more than 18. Number of port you need for the switches.
It's
Not that much, yeah. So I think it's 4 or 5. Yeah, that's enough. So maybe the management switches is more for your makes more suitable for you. And this black one, we have a 68 model. So based on different port combination or different port type, like you can have the fiber or have the copper and different uplink speed. So you can have very much choice for your. So based on your application, you can select what you need. Yeah. And do you also use PoE function in your application? Not really. So basically, switch is just for connecting to your other device. Okay. And only one switches in the location. Okay. Yeah. So then I think maybe standalone that would be good. But this PoE function, if you in the future utilize that, this one is support the latest PoE protocol. So standard, so that can be support up to 490 watts. So for some customer, they will connect it to the camera, and camera consume much power than the usual one, like the PTZ camera that can turn. So then they change their original solution to this one. And also all our devices, they can support wide temperature. So for standard one, it's up to 60 degrees. And if that's a dash T, so every model, if you have a dash T model, that can support a wider to up to 75. So if you that's put into some remote area, I think that would be a very suitable device and very stable, I would say.
I think the screws for the.
And down here, maybe just for your information, this is for more high port density, and for customer who want to plug in more different module, because like this, the port is fixed, so you cannot change once you choose the model. But here you can expand for your future, when you can just keep the empty slot for your future expansion. And also each module is in different type, so it can either be fiber, PoE, copper, or different speed, like you can want fast Ethernet or want a full gig. So that's for more high port density, and some customer want the flexibility. Yeah, that's for the switches. Any questions?
Can you repeat that last part? Can you repeat the last part?
This one?
The switching, yeah.
Okay. So this is, as you can see, is also the modular. It's also the thin rail type switches, but we make it modular. The purpose or our intention to make this modular switches is because we found that for some customer, for example, like mining customer, they have their control room, their switch room in one location, but on the side they have many cabinets. So all those ports, they prefer it to be fiber, so they can connect a longer distance, because your copper will have a distance limitation, 100 meter. So for sites that have a bigger networking and they have fiber connecting to one point to the other, so in that case, customer will need fiber port. But if for the fixed types of switches, the fiber port is limited. It cannot be like 428 fiber. So in that case, customer prefer this one, so they can choose. So each of them is a 4-port module, and those modules just are designed as hot swappable. Also very, I would say very, for OT environment, that's very preference function, because we don't want it to shut down the switch when any issue happen to just one of the slot of your module or one of your ports. And you only need to replace one module. You don't need to replace all the switches. And when you replace that, you just buy a new one and slide in the new one and just screw it up again. It's already now up and running. So that's a new design for a little bit advanced usage of the customer, and also they can keep flexibility, because when they buy the chassis, they can just keep all the spare module that's empty. They don't need to buy all at once. So when future, if they have more sites, they have more factory, they can just slide in new one and connect it to a new place. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, good. Okay, so maybe I'll just quickly go with that one, because they might not very related to what the project. You mean the turn one of and turn the other one? You mean is?
It's like if I bring, say, multiple equipments into the network.
Yeah.
With the help of these modules.
Yeah.
So will I be able to monitor them all at the same
Yeah,
time?
of course. Yes. So do you have any current solution for monitoring, software, or any method to monitor?
Like currently, like I've seen in some sites, what happens is if we say want to troubleshoot one unit,
Yeah.
or maybe check what's going on,
Yeah.
we can't monitor the other one unless we connect to that one. So we have to disconnect everything from there and it back in there, do one by one. So if I use this module, am I able to do all of them at the same time?
Yeah, you could. Like, just take an example. For example, if you have these switches, you connect it to your device A and connect it to device B. So all those devices are having the IP address, right? So you're connecting to one of the port, and you are in the same IP, same subnet as all those two switches. You actually just use different IP address that you can access different device of yours. Yeah. And also another function that our switches provide, we can also monitor the traffic. Yeah. So you can, for example, you're connecting your devices in one of this port. and you want to, and let's talk to the other port like here. You want to see what's going on between these two, because normally the traffic between these two will not go through your computer. And we provide a function called port mirror, and that mirror can give you the ability to redirect, or you can say copy one of that traffic to the port that your computer connecting with. So on your computer, you can see what's the traffic going on between that two, and that's what originally, if you don't have management switches, that cannot provide you. Yeah, that's some suitable function for troubleshooting. And I think for Moxa, we also provide the training courses. The course is called Industrial Internet. So it's industrial networking. So we will start from very basic, like how the network is building, what is about Ethernet, what is about routing. So from the theory, and then within this 2-day training, we will also bring the switches to your site, to the training courses, and for customer to connecting, we will guide you how to configure from IP address to redundancy protocol, and at the end we also give some advice about how to do the troubleshooting and how to use the Pro Mirror function as well. Yeah, so if you have any interest about attending this networking, to get more into that, about what's the knowledge about networking, what our Moxa switch can provide to you, just let Azar know. I think he can arrange training. Yeah.
Sure.
Any question about switches? The industry, and so we even built the device, different types of device just for a specific market. Just a quick glance about those functions. Just a second. For example, this one is for a substation. So for substation, they have their power devices talking to each other, and they are very time critical. So when those time critical devices talking to each other, they cannot tolerate any downtime. So the network cannot be stopped by any chances, and the traffic between devices need to be always there. So in here, if there's any link or any device is off, they want to have their network still working. So how can you achieve that? It's a quite challenging thing. So in this IC6150, they defined a new protocol. It's called PRP-HSR, specifically for this kind of digital substation. So their design will be looking like this. So they will try to make everything in 2 copy. So make sure if from the start they send 2 copy, 1 to blue, 1 to green, and at the end point they will receive 2 copy. So if one of the copy is off, they still have the other one. So that's also the technology or protocol that Moxa we can offer to the market. So that's for substation. And for moving vehicles, so for the, like for example the train, when it's moving, you always have a lot of vibration. So you can see the connector or the switches here look a little bit different. So specifically for this kind of environment that it providing with this connector can provide the vibration proof and also waterproof and dust proof. Besides using on the train, that also be adopted in a lot of mining company. They use that in their moving vehicle as well, especially underground, because underground is more humid and more dusted. And if you ever travel to Sydney, Tangara train, you will actually our switches and cameras installed in the train. Yeah. So maybe just have a look when you find where's Moxa. Yeah. So this is more for vertical market. Just quick idea, like Moxa, we also have specific device for this kind of application, but maybe we can stay more time there, and we'll have more device. Maybe have we are manufacturing in Taiwan. Yeah.
Sorry.
Device is manufactured in Taiwan. Yeah.
You have to scream now.
Okay, cool. So we start from this one because maybe this is more familiar to you. Anyone have seen this? Or maybe it's brother and sister. Unport. That's our
M4.
RS2322 Ethernet. Yeah, so So if someone, which one? Say you have used,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So should be this one, or something similar, smallest footprint. Yeah. So we have the smallest one, 1 pore, maybe just look like this big.
Yeah.
So that's the 5000 series, and this is broader, it's 6000 series. But what's advanced than the 5000 series? This one it have this, it's called secure terminal server. So beside the general function that 5000 series can support to convert your RS-232 to Ethernet, this one can do the encryption at the Ethernet side. So our customer will have more awareness in this cybersecurity topic, they adopt this one. So we first have this kind of request. It's from the telecom company in Taiwan. So originally now their company start to have the awareness of the cybersecurity. So they will scan all the devices in their network and see, okay, which one have a highest security level. So actually they accidentally placed an order for the 6001, and in that scan, only the 6001 passed the test. So they just thinking, okay, why is this 6001? Because all the other is 5000. And they just, oh, okay, 6000. So what's the difference? Oh yeah, because it's more secure. We have more secure functions, so you can apply this and that. And they just change all the 5000 to the 6000. Yeah. So just for the future, if you have any requirement about cybersecurity, Moxa, we're also a company really focused on cybersecurity. In industrial OT world, there's a standard called IEC 62443. So that standard define very from the bottom to the top. Like for us, we are the device manufacturer, so we have to comply with the 62443-4 requirement. -4-1 for corporate wise, -4-2 for device wise. So we have for corporate wise, we already have this -4-1. So which means that all the devices we develop will have this DNA of cybersecurity. And for some of the devices, we also put them to pass the certificate for -4-2. Unfortunately, we cannot push everything to the certificate because each certificate you need money to get the certificate. But I would say the DNA is built into the device. So even though maybe some device they doesn't have the certificate, but still have the security function built in. For example, this is one of the devices that have the -4-2. This is our next generation firewall. So this is the firewall that's not only providing the IP protocol, that's the IP address, the filtering for the firewall, but also one step further, it has the function called deep packet inspection. So you can even look into the protocol that you are using. For example, the Modbus. Do you use Modbus in the field? Yeah. So if you use Modbus, you know that Modbus, when you try to pull in some address or pull in some information, you need to define what's the function code, what's the address. And some function code can read write, some function code can just read. So this can even look into detail what's the traffic. So if that's a read write, the function code will be blocked. So which means the firewall can even understand part of your industrial protocol and can look into even detail than IP address filtering. So this here we also demonstrate this is like a small factory here, and you want to have your control of your factory. And someone, if they, for example, this is your PLC that's talking Modbus. If someone knows your Modbus address or your PLC, they can easily just try to write, and that can interrupt your control of your PLC because that's talking the same language. And this, if that can just filter out the write, so someone, if that's not authorized, they can just only read. So they cannot just, maybe that's not hacker, maybe just some operator accidentally changed some address, that can also be prevented. Yeah, so that's for the firewall. And this is the I/O. So like here we use that to monitor as an example, like your field device, maybe it's a meter that can talk Modbus, but this is the I/O that have several different I/O types, so you can have different combination, range from digital input, output, analog input, output, different model, and you have some intelligent inside, I would say. It's not as smart as your PLC, but it have the function called click and go. And click and go, you can set some if and else logic. So if this DI is on, the DO will be switch on as well. Okay. And here, this is also the I/O, but that's a modular I/O. So you can expand that based on a number of your I/O. If you have a lot of input output in one location, this can slide to up to 32 modules, which means that hundreds of I/O can be supported. And here we demonstrate this is for these I/O have a lot of input output tag that we will send to IoT gateway, and this gateway will send to the cloud for control. And how to send to the cloud is going through this cellular modem. So we found that maybe it's quite frequently asked for Australian customer because for Australia we're quite big. So many devices or many stations that was implemented in the middle of nowhere. So that's impossible for customer to connect the fiber to that. So they need to find something that's wireless. And for wireless, cellular is their most convenient function. So normally they use the cellular to connect into the internet and back to where that control center is.
Is there a protocol that wireless follows, like that we should know about? Like, is it any protocol?
So for wireless device, normally the frequently customer will ask is what's the generation of your cellular phone? So like 4G, LTE, or 5G. So that's more frequently asked. But for cellular modem wise, that's normally you can take it like a layer 3 devices. So switch is like a layer 2, more for the local area network. But layer 3 is something you wanted to connecting to the internet. So normally you put your SIM card in, and we support dual SIM card. So that means you can have Optus and you got Telstra both in your SIM slot. They can back up with each other. So that's something that take you to the internet. Yeah. So for protocol wise, unfortunately we didn't bring any protocol converter here. Yeah. But also all of the devices support sort of protocol. So that means if you use our device, you can have you can use those protocol to monitor our device. Yeah. I think maybe just like for you already know, our protocol design is more for one-to-one. It's not like any bus that you have one devices like and slide in different modules. But we pretty much tackle all the protocol that you have, but just they are in the standalone devices.
So, is there a scenario where we can use a one-to-one converter, say Modbus to Internet IP?
Yeah.
From let's say 5 different sources.
Yeah, of course.
And then go to one of those
Definitely.
switching things.
Definitely,
And then,
definitely.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
the solution, right?
Yes. So it's just like the protocol and protocol is one-to-one.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the device connecting to the one that's can
Yeah.
just be one device.
Yeah.
So that can be multiple.
Yes.
Based on different device or different protocol, we have different limitation about how many devices you can connect. For example, it's Modbus to DMP3.
Yeah.
So how many Modbus can support it at the southbound?
Yeah.
How many devices can support it on the DMP3? That's based on device, but definitely just not one. Yeah. But just the protocol is one-to-one.
Yeah. Of course, yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have a various converter
Yeah.
there. If you need any specific one, I think we can have some more detail for you.
Yes.
Typically, it's a Modbus to Internet
Yeah.
IP.
This one or
No, Internet IP.
TCP.
And also the
It's
serial
to Modbus TCP.
Yes.
Yeah.
These two.
And the other one, that the white one you showed apparently used recently, which was a serial to Ethernet.
Yeah, that doesn't show in here. But that's a import series.
Yeah. So that one apparently I used one in the program. I don't know.
So this is more for TCP2 with an IP.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
And that is the one that confuses us, but now it's a lot clearer. So yeah, good to know. I think that's what we will be using primarily, more so than anything else.
Unless like sometimes we get special requirements.
There's nothing stopping us from converting RS-32 to Ethernet IP, because all they care about is the Ethernet IP in the end, right? But yeah, we can go with one standard and be like, yeah, this is what we're gonna use.
as you mentioned, like if we can have all the system in one place,
Yeah.
that'd be much more feasible than getting different equipments for different systems.
Normally they will have some network, so either that's just one device for very small topology, or you have multiple devices, you will have multiple switches and one more. You will have a bigger network if you have more device in different location. You can always consider they connected to each other. Then that will make your monitoring life easier, because if you have connection to one side to the other, maybe the office is on the other side, then they can